Hey, GM everyone. July 19th, we are back for another episode of Let's Play Little Nouns. We're going to talk about this alien punk, this ether rock, a prop to stake 10,000 ETH, and we're also going to talk about Index's prop that he's working on, swim lessons for kids. We're going to get into all that right after this start. Index GM, how are you?
GM, I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing well. We took 1 week off last week, so it's been 2 weeks. A lot going on. This is Let's Play Little Nouns. This is our live stream. We do this every Wednesday here. We like to remind people this is not financial advice, not legal advice. This is an adventure. We are sponsored by Little Nouns DAO. You can read all about that, littlenounns.wtf/vote/116 on Ethereum. Coming to you here from the LOL ship as we are on this infinite game journey here. It's July 19th. We've had a lot going on in Nouns, so we're going to kind of cover some of the important stuff that happened this past week. And then we're going to get into kind of free swim lessons. That's sort of the outline of the show. But welcome tonight. What's on your mind? What are you thinking about? What's going on in Nouns for you?
I mean, there's kind of like a lot of nouns in now that you're talking about. Maybe it's because we took 2 weeks off. I don't know. But this is like one of the first episodes where I'm not even sure I know everything that's going on right now. The amount of proposals that have come in the last 2 weeks has been kind of abnormal. A lot of cancellations too, a lot of back and forth. I feel like this is like discourse via on-chain proposals like we haven't seen before in Nouns. And I think I know what's going on, but sometimes I'm not even sure if I've kept up.
Geez, we're up to prop 344 here. These 300s have just blown by, haven't they?
I'd love to see like the data on these last few weeks compared to others, but yeah, it's been kind of wild. Also, like a new meta of this whole like resubmission thing. We've seen resubmissions before, but we have a couple of resubmissions up. Well, I guess in some way, almost all of them are resubmissions. But wow, I'm thinking about it now. Like a lot of these are just extensions of other props or resubmissions. We have very few fresh props up right now.
Yeah. And some really kind of consequential ones, too, right? There's currently a prop that, if executed, would stake almost $20 million of ETH. That's prop 332 here. Stake 10,000 ETH. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's no joke. I think that leaves us with like 3,000 unstaked ETH if this were to be done. And it's looking like it passes. I voted no on it, but I think I'm okay with it if it passes. Some very, very thoughtful and good reasons on this prop. So I guess it led to some strong discussion, which is always nice. Maybe I could have abstained. I think on these I tend to abstain, the highly financial ones, but I voted no, but I'm okay with staking. I've never been super against staking because it's kind of an important thing to do. Brings in extra revenue.
Yep. Any kind of reasons stick out for you? I'm going to switch over to voter.wtf. Shout out Wilson. Here he is at the top. Wilson's a no.
I think the big one on this one would be noun 40s.
Was he for or against?
He was a 4. I think you kind of already scrolled past it. A lot of revote with reasons on noun 40 as well.
Yeah, let's find it here.
There we go, right there.
This one. Oh, yep, noun 40 voting via Gore proxy. Voting for, but mostly for different reasons.
I mean, I don't want to super paraphrase him, but I might. It's essentially, let's just stake it all and be done with it. Figure out the best solution for the staking, stake it all, and then we can move forward from here. So that's kind of the gist of it. And then a little bit more commentary on the whole bid for punk thing, the ARB talk. But his gist is just let's just stake it and call it a day. But I am paraphrasing, so feel free to read his reason in full.
Yeah, a lot of big voters haven't voted yet. I don't see Will Price, I think. And I don't see Nounders. So yeah, it looks like this is on track to pass.
Yeah, they usually the stake props are Will's props. So this one's a little different, and even the actual text and body of the proposal is ever so slightly different from a Will Price proposal. But he did vote for. I just checked.
Okay.
With his known wallets, I only go by known wallets or etc.
And Lil Nouns, are we going to vote for it? I would guess if Will was a yes.
Well, he doesn't control his little nouns right now, but yeah, Littles is a 4. So it's looking pretty strong, like we're going to be staking 10,000 ETH, which, I don't know, I guess that's exciting. Maybe it'll attract a lot more attention to the DAO. Could be good.
Yep. All right, well, let's see. Let's move on here. We got a bunch of new props. And do any other ones merit attention or anything that you want to chat about? We got let's see. We got a bunch of these alien punk ones. Do you want to? Yeah, it's sort of a convoluted story, but the first two were canceled. The current one here, V3. By the way, I love the speed of iteration here on chain. Suggest buying this punk 5905 for 5,000 ETH.
Yeah, so it's been proposed 3 times now. All proposals are by different people. On the alien punk side, this latest one is from Beautiful NFTs under a different wallet, but essentially an alien punk went up on the market, and I guess a member of NowZao decided it would be interesting to bid on it, and so put up a proposal to bid, got a lot of lashback, decided to cancel it, and then 4156 decided it was worth pursuing again. Then I believe he canceled it for whatever reasons, and then Beautiful has taken the mantle here. And then each proposal to buy this, well, actually not even this specific alien punk, I guess, has come with a retort kind of parody proposal to buy an Ether Rock for crazy amounts of ETH. And the only thing is the latest 2 Ether Rock proposals aren't to actually buy the Ether Rock. It's just to send ETH to the proposer's wallet. So a little bit of back and forth on chain. Who knows? I've lost interest at this point, personally.
So wait, the owner of the Ether Rock is also associated with the CryptoPunk?
No. Well, I don't know what their association with anything is, but anytime an alien punk prop goes up, an ether rock prop goes up. But instead of actually buying or bidding on an ether rock, it just sends the ETH to this person's address. Except for the first ether rock proposal, which I believe actually was a legitimate transaction.
So it sort of could be seen as a malicious proposal because it says, hey, let's buy this ether rock, but in fact the transaction just doesn't buy the ether rock.
Yeah, I mean, they acknowledge it here at the end, but yeah, not a... It'd be like you asking for 5,000 ETH, essentially. Which, I mean, go for it if you feel comfortable. I don't know. I'm assuming none of these pass, but it's led to quite a bit of back and forth, a little bit of drama. But after the third time, yeah, I'm kind of ready to see some other proposals.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. What else do we have going on chain that's of interest? We got the Nounify Korea stamp collection up again. That's a repost. We got Nerman. That's a second attempt there.
That's a second attempt as well. It's kind of crazy. We have Lo-Fi Noggles is a second attempt. We have the stETH peg protection, which is a continuation of a previous proposal. I mean, these can almost all of them, except for a couple, can be kind of like second attempts or continuations. The only really new super unique props is this Nouns Wallet one, which is not looking too strong, 335.
That's a bit of an understatement.
Prop 340 and Prop 341 are kind of newer proposals. Even 343, the CC0 library, can kind of be considered a another attempt because it's from the archives.wtf team. But at least it's more of a unique second attempt.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's talk about for a minute proposal 326. Mucho love. It was pending when we went on the air last. It passed 217 to 160. This is a big win for Little Nouns. I believe the first kind of real proposal, I guess there was prop lot. So maybe the second proposal that Little Nouns put on chain that has ever passed. So that seems huge.
Yeah, I think from the official, like, I don't know if this is considered official, but the metagov.littlenouns account is the first one to pass. Prop lot pass, but yeah, from a different address or wallet. So kind of a big deal for Little Nouns, I guess. Finally a win after many losses. Kind of wonder how much that actually like comes back to Littles. I'm like thinking at the end of the day, it's more about the people involved in the prop and the prop itself than the actual proposer. So I don't know how much comes back to Littles from this, but in like goodwill and reputation, but it's still cool to see.
And friend of the stream, Neckfest, right?
Yep, we've had Neckfest on. I gave a little bit of feedback to this prop. I'm probably not as much as other people. I'm not really great at the feedback thing, but also he's I guess it's Mucho Love, not really Neckfest, but got the noun in the treasury that we talked about on this show. Jello, Mr. Jello.
Oh, so that was part of the prop, huh?
Yep. So we had the auto bidder acquire now 687, and now 687 is Mucho Loves.
Wow. And so that's been transferred. That's been done. So your dreams of using Jello are sort of over.
Yeah, that's okay. Someone was going to get them eventually. So it's Mucho Loves. Yep, it's in their wallet, 687. So we'll see Mucho Love starting to vote maybe on chain, which will be cool. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see a noun make its way somewhere, because there's a lot like those nouns, acquisition committee nouns that have just kind of been sitting in that multi-sig for a while. And so it's cool to see it happen on chain. Cut the middleman out.
Amazing. And Nekfist, friend of the show, I mean, maybe he delegates that out. Maybe we see Jello, some stuff happen with Jello.
Yeah, Jello's journey is just beginning, probably, but we'll see.
Mike G, GM.
Yo, Nekfist is getting Jello?
He already got it.
MuchoLove.eth has Jello.
Ah, incredible. So he could rename Jello to Mucho Jello if he wanted to, huh?
Yeah, what's Jello in Spanish? Is it just Jello?
Let me ask.
Yellow? Is the J like got a maybe a different pronunciation? Same letters.
I'll tell you one thing I see changing is by being held by the auto bidder, Jello was just absent, just a bunch of these missed votes. But now that they are owned by Mucho Love, we're going to see some voting. Jello getting in on the governance game.
So the Spanish for gelatin would be gelatina.
So kind of hello. That's almost like a hello. Yeah, hello. I don't know. I should shut up.
With that mop of hair, kind of does look more female than male to me.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Nouns
Jello?
are kind of post-gender.
He's business in the front, party in the back, baby. Come on.
Exactly. I mean, it's not hair. It's whatever jellyfish are made out of. Flesh.
Jelly.
Jellyfish flesh. You know, on top of a suit.
Wait, did you translate jellyfish or Jello?
Gelatin, and I asked my wife.
But should it really be gelatin translated, or should it be jellyfish?
Jello is a brand name. It's not really like a word. So I assume it is pronounced exactly the same way in Spanish, since it's like a brand, you know? Like, I don't think you would say Coca-Cola differently in Spanish.
If you put Jello into Google Translate, it comes out gelatina as well.
Right.
Yeah, but
yeah. Go ahead.
But I translate jellyfish, and it comes out Medusa.
What?
Medusa.
It does.
I mean, if you think about it, yeah. Let me ask her.
Medusa. Oh boy. But yeah, we got one more noun in the voting pool.
Shout out Mucho Love. Yeah, great to see that pass. Great to see a noun be awarded. It looked like 159,000 for Mucho Love. If I'm reading that right, 159,100 USDC. That's big.
That's a lot of good in the world. But yeah. And I think it passed. Actually, I don't even know. So many props, I've lost track. But I was going to say that it didn't need the governance pool, but I think it did. Maybe scroll back up.
Oh yeah. Let's take a look there. Let's go to the governance stuff. What's been going on with the governance pool? So I'm going to go to federation.wtf, funded by nouns. Here we are. And I go down to...
You know, my only complaint about this Mucho Love prop is that the name Mucho Love is at the very end of the proposal. And every single time I went looking for it, for some reason I could not find the prop because I kept looking for Mucho Love at the beginning. Like it should have, for me, it should have just been titled Mucho Love, and then maybe redefining nouns power change after like a colon or something. My only advice for future props.
So 42 votes. If these had been no, then it would have failed. But if these had not voted, then it would have passed. What's interesting here is 3 bids were all 4.
Yep. I guess, play it safe and show your support, even if it means a little bit of extra ETH. Because at the end of the day, 0.3 ETH for 42 votes is not very significant.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem here is, like, based on trend, people, I think, were bidding no, right? Like, on props before. So, like, the thought here had to be that, like, there's no, like, auction extension, right? Like, it just ends at a certain time, the Federation auction pool. So, like, at some point, somebody could just sneak one in with, like, a high gas, transaction, and just, like, get in a last minute bid if it's low also. So I think, like, continuing to bid for was like to deter that a little bit, I imagine.
Yeah, there's a little bit of weird, like, game dynamics here at play that it's tough to figure out because you never know. Safe than sorry, I guess. But yeah, 0.3 small price to pay, I think, for 42 votes. But we've already seen, I forget what prop it was, but Beautiful has voted or has bid 2 ETH against staking 10,000 ETH in Lido.
Yeah, that's crazy. He, like, can you guys talk to that a little bit? And, like, his tweet, maybe? I don't know if we want to get that spicy, but, like, I had always thought that he was going to be someone that forked, but it feels like maybe no after the recent tweets. And
well, based on his reasoning, yeah, he's seems pretty against the forkers.
Yeah, I think he's not happy that there's no penalty towards forking. I think that's kind of the gist, like, but who knows? I think he's hard to really nail down and predict.
Yeah,
his, like, actions and intentions, but he leads to a lot of interesting moments.
Yeah, so let's take a look here. This is we're talking about Prop 332, stake 10,000 ETH, 62 votes up for auction. This. If this is a no vote, it puts this prop closer to failure. So, when the pool has 62 auctions and there's sort of a close vote, it really skews the the incentives, and you can have kind of high bids. Now, of course, Beautiful NFTs owns nouns in this pool, right? So a portion of this is going to be returned to him, but a portion will be distributed to the other nouners in the pool. Do we know how many he's got in the pool? I mean, we could obviously look.
It's not that many as far as, like, when it was 62. I want to say it's something around, like, the number 13, but I don't actually know. But it's also hard because Goop created this pool, and I don't know what his actual, at the end of the day, involvement or affiliation with Goop is, but there's a 7.5% fee on all the proceeds that go to Goop, and then 2.5 go to Federation. But it looks like he has actually 6 from Vault.Beautiful NFTs. But then I think there was a couple more from another address.
So then, even if he got the full amount from Goop and his share for the 6, he's still kind of giving away a bunch of ETH to the other poolers, right? With this, assuming no one.
Yeah, he's not getting that much back. But I don't know if he's really super driven by, like, yeah, he definitely has more ETH than, you know, most. So I'm not sure if he's like scrounging up for ETH necessarily.
Yeah. Mike, what are your thoughts? What do you think?
On what? My bad, I wasn't listening.
On staking 10,000 ETH on Beautiful, on the voting pool here with the 62 votes.
Yeah, I kind of abstain from that because, like, I don't even. I'm just like, what? I get what people are saying. They're like, why, you know, put so much into that basket? Like, so much more. Like, we should diversify and put it somewhere else. Some people think that it's a safer bet than putting it on builders, though. Spicy comments in the NCD server. But yeah, I just don't really have an opinion. It's uninteresting to me. You know, like, it's cool because, like, the DAO will be able to, like, be self-sufficient for a while, but I don't think it's growing the DAO. I don't think it's like outward proliferation at all. It's not weird. It's not unusual. It's like very safe and not very nounish in general, I think.
But don't you think we're probably going to be like the largest DAO owner of staked ETH now? I mean, don't you think we're expanding into that part of Ethereum that are going to look and like, wow, Noun's just bought 20 million to staked ETH? You think there's some narrative value there?
Yeah, I guess it's like Ethereum values, right? It checks that box under nounishness, I guess.
Yeah, it's like some form of like indirect marketing and to the Ethereum crowd, maybe, and just attention. I never was against like staking because I thought, yeah, it was like Ethereum native, and by that way being nounish. I never knew what my limit was, but I think I could be convinced to stake everything.
But should it be going into the same staking pool that a bunch is already locked up in? Like, people have brought up good points about, like, what if something happens with Lido?
Well, that's why you get the prop to convert it, then you get the prop to like insure it, then you get some. I don't know this. You know, like you just get like 20 other different DeFi-esque props.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just not that interesting. You know?
Yeah, not that interesting to me either. Yeah. I think it's cool that we get money every day for doing nothing, but
yeah, I dig that for sure. For sure, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not like the part of nouns that I care for.
Yeah, it's like Panda says, default alive, and it helps to that or whatever. So, yeah, I'm with you, Index. That's more Panda side of nouns.
I love that stuff. I love it, just experimenting on the cutting edge. Yeah, I love all those things. But yeah, we've done about half the show now. Yeah, we're going to talk about free swim lesson for kids. This is Index. This is a prop you're sort of building. Very kind of early stages, but you got a HackMD up. You sent it out to myself and Mike. We gave you some feedback. I think you sent it to a couple other folks. We got about a half hour here. What do you feel like working on? Do you want to kind of give sort of an overview of where you're at to kick this off, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I've been working on a proposal. I guess it's probably been a little over a week. Well, the genesis. Well, I actually don't know when the genesis of it came about quite a while ago. Maybe during Hack Week was probably the first instance of this thought in my head of doing something like this. And then there just was no opportunity, or I felt there was no opportunity or place for it. So it kind of died down for a few months in my head. And then I was just chatting with some other Nouners delegates about myself, and the topic of swimming came up, and I was encouraged to maybe explore what a prop might look like in swimming. And so this is the direction I took it. Swim lessons for kids. And the idea is essentially to provide free swim lessons for kids in New York City for a period of time. It's like at the end of the day, it's like really quite a simple proposal, but the challenging is making like a simple proposal like interesting and compelling and informative to people voting on it, which maybe is where I'm struggling a little bit with. It's so like close to me and I'm so familiar with this topic that like, I don't know, I just kind of get it right off the bat, but maybe not everyone else might understand where I'm coming from. And then again, just the current state of the DAO, it might be a tricky proposal to pass because it's more philanthropic in a sense. I don't know if I would call it charity directly, but maybe a little bit. So we'll see. But yeah, I have a HackMD.
It's got to be charity, right? What else would it be? I mean, it's other things too, but it's
a little more than just like a straight donation, I'd say. I guess I should have specified the term donation.
Say more.
It's not really just like a well, I guess like to me, like Nouns could donate money to something and then that's kind of it. Or I could be given this money and perform this kind of like, or pilot this program, and you can capture like really interesting media from it. You can tell a story about it. You can spread the word of Nouns in the swimming community like it never has been before. You impact all these kids for potentially their entire life, and then maybe that trickles down to like friends and family of theirs, or maybe in future generations they're compelled to teach their kids how to swim. So I guess it's definitely charity, but I don't know if it's necessarily like in the terms of a donation, if I'm making any sense. Yeah,
I mean, it's a public good for sure.
It's a little more compelling than just a donation, I think, especially if I'm able to fully utilize my connections and reputation in the swimming space. I could see myself, I have a lot of confidence in myself, and this is not the same as maybe media and other domains, but I could see myself achieving the highest success rate over like media news capture in the space compared to other proposals.
So like in swimming media, like in swimming magazines, or I don't even know.
Yeah, there's some magazines,
groups,
but like publications, groups, Instagram accounts, Twitters, maybe even like if it's super successful local news or something. I don't know. I could see it. Whether it happens or not is another thing. I try not to like speak in super confident terms, but I do feel fairly confident in this world.
Well, like what would be an example of a good, say, like you think someone writes like a story and writes about it in swimming magazine or Instagram? Is there a way for us to visually represent any of that?
I'm not too sure. And it's also obviously not a given that I'm like, I haven't secured any of this. Like, hey, if you do this, you'll get this. So I don't know if it's a given either, but I could put in text that I'm going to try it maybe. I don't know, unless you have ideas. Maybe that's where you come in.
Yeah, no, I'm just my goal here is to kind of flesh this out of you, kind of get the value prop, and try to work on like a visual to kind of visually represent it. Should we pull up your HackMD, or is that kind of private?
Let's see. All right, have it on the screen. It's kind of like a very live working document, so it's not really it at all, but very short if you take out the actual feedback portion. And it repeats the free swim lessons for kids many times. But that's really all it is at the end of the day. Like, to some extent, I feel like I just need that. But I know I have to provide a lot more.
Yeah, I'd love to do something visual.
I know. I've tried a little bit. I mean, you have that little graphic that I made, but I just know that's not it. And like, I almost feel like a bad graphic weakens the prop, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Like
I
in my
love this.
mind, I actually was going to already like perform one of these at some point, maybe get a retro funding for it if needed, and then go from there. Because I feel like if I were to do one and capture something from it or some moment or have some experience from it, it would like 10x the quality of the proposal itself. But I didn't get the chance to do it prior to this. And then of course the prop itself is just, I mean, very doxy information in it at times.
Yeah, because you sort of are, I think you've called yourself like a niche athlete, but you actually do have accomplishments as a swimmer in, recognized legitimate competitions as an adult.
Yeah, I don't know if that, I mean, to me that like carries over into this proposal and like helps establish why I might be good at it. But I tried to reference them without also sounding kind of like conceited, and then also trying not to be fully just straight up docs, even though if you wanted to, it's probably not very difficult. But yeah, I hold American records in 2 niche aquatic sports. And one of those ties very closely to like water safety. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say without just completely doxing everything, which I guess I don't care about. But
well, and why would you, like, for example, if I put up this prop that I'm going to go teach swim lessons, I have no training. I've never done that, but you do, right? You do it professionally, including this last weekend, right? You had a big event where you worked, and you do this professionally.
Yeah, maybe like a slightly different setting than what I'm proposing, but yeah, essentially I taught, I don't know the total number of unique kids, but let's just say if you just count like registrations per day, it was probably like 120. It would be like 120 website visits. How many unique visits? I don't know the actual number. Maybe like 50 or 60 of those were unique. Probably less.
What's it like teaching? Do you have any specific moments where you've taught a kid maybe a couple of times and it's made a big difference? Or yeah, give us sort of a human story about your teaching career and what specifically kind of happens at these sort of things and why it's important.
I mean, the one I did this weekend is a little different than this proposal because it's kids who can already, like, they're already water safe and they can already swim. Maybe they swim competitively. But for me personally at these clinics, I just try and find at least a couple kids. Like my goal is to make like a deeper connection with at least a few of the kids in the camp. But
how do you do that?
This is so weird. Is this compelling content? I don't know. But oh man, I have this weird thing in swimming where I don't know. I don't know how to explain it without getting into it. But I feel like sometimes I can really, really relate to these kids more than maybe like other coaches or adults. Like I can relate to these kids in a way that other adults can't. And I try to put myself more on their playing field than as like a superior. I just try my best to relate to them. And I think because of my wide breadth of experiences, I'm capable of relating to all sorts of swimmers. Because I've quit the sport before. I was terrible once. I've been good. Not the best, but pretty good. So I've been all over the place. I don't know if that's really the right answer for this proposal, but because there's like this weird, like there's a competitive nature, and then this proposal kind of is a little less on the competitive side. So the answers vary, I guess, but yeah. I know what you're trying to get at me. I don't know if I have the greatest answer for it. Am I convincing you that I'm suited for this?
You've convinced me you're suited for it because it's so freaking nounish. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
thing is just nounish from the get-go. It's like bootstrapping a whole thing based on your expertise. Your cred and nouns, you're in the collection, you've been around forever. It's just totally on brand. And yeah. What how have you thought more about how you're gonna recruit these kids or how you're gonna find them?
My thesis is that there is such a void and such an opportunity that's not filled. It will be easier than I think, or than others might think. But again, it gets to this point of like the competitive side of swimming versus the non-competitive side. On this skews more towards the non-competitive side. But I feel very comfortable saying that almost anybody involved in competitive swimming in New York knows who I am, and I know who they are. And that's quite a few like connections and relationships that can easily be tapped into to find people looking for opportunity.
So basically, you'll put the word out to your network of other professionals, coaches, facilities, and kind of let them sort of hopefully recruit the kids.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pretty much start there and see where that goes, and then I'll expand outward from there if it doesn't prove sufficient. I'll tap into like there's an organization called USA Swimming which governs all of competitive swimming in the United States, and then each area of the country sort of has their local swimming committee called LSC. There's one for New York City called Metropolitan, and I can tap into that kind of network to try and see if there's people looking. Again, it gets into like a little bit of a competitive nature thing. Like I'm kind of undermining other people's businesses by offering things for free, but I think I'm servicing a need that maybe they're not as interested in servicing. So I don't know if there'd be some conflict. Then I could start to reach out to like, other groups, like youth organizations that try and provide opportunity for kids that maybe aren't filling the swimming part of things. Like I think of like a boys and girls club or something that doesn't have a pool. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I might be naive, but I don't think it's going to be that hard to find the opportunity. And then of course I've structured it so that I will scale the space and staff as needed. So maybe if like the first week I don't fill every single slot, then I don't pay for every single slot.
Yep.
So it literally can just start with me and one kid if that's what it takes. And then I just won't spend the extra money or time. These good answers or these bad answers? These are just like the real reality answers. These aren't like fake, I'm trying to win this prop answers. These are just like exactly how it would go down.
Well, you're trying to figure out what kind of prop this will be, right? You're getting feedback, you're talking it out. It's really kind of necessary for every prop.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm giving you like the actual like true answer, not just like hey, I need this vote answer.
Yeah. What's your next play on where do you feel like you're at in the overall process? Do you feel comfortable getting other feedback from nouners, from friends? Where are you at in terms of the grand strategy here?
It's actually quite weird because it's kind of in between both. So like I've shared it with a few people in my real life, and I've gotten advice that is like, well, I don't know how to explain to it, but you don't really know what nouns is, and your advice is kind of off. And then I can explain it to like, I haven't shared it to too many nouns people, but I feel like I could share it to nouns people, and it's like, you don't really get anything about swimming. And so it's weird. Maybe this is what every proposer goes through. But I haven't reached out to too many nouns people yet with the idea, other than just talking about the general direction. I think this is the only direction I'm going to go in, is just about making people see the value in this and vote for. And so I get the money to do it.
Yeah, ultimately, it's the noun voters that you care about, not.
Yeah. But this is the idea and the direction. I'm not going to bring any other idea or direction here for now.
Yeah.
But yeah. I need some graphical components. If I share my HackMD again, sorry, I cut you off a little bit, but yeah, it's just a little bare. I don't know. I got these weird footnotes down here, but
I like those. And one thing I just thought of, I clicked on that New York Times op-ed. Wonder if that could be an image, because the image is pretty good. It could almost be nounified. You could say like the author is. Let me pull that up. Or it's on the Figma here. It says too many New Yorkers can't swim. It's time to change that. You could do like opinion by nouns, opinion by Noggles. And that's basically why this is kind of the reason for why you'd want someone to vote yes on this, right?
Yeah, pretty much. There's a gap and a void in the world, and I uniquely positioned to fill that, I think. At the end of the day, is kind of it. But yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I can take that photo. It's a strong photo. But and also the New York Times article is paywalled at the end of the day, so no one's really going to be able to read it.
Hey, random question that just occurred to me. How many hours of your life do you think you've spent swimming?
Like actually in the pool, or just on the sport of swimming itself?
Let's say on the sport of swimming.
I don't know. It's kind of impossible.
Like a lot.
Yeah, a crazy amount. In the water, it's, there's a limit to how much you can spend in the water, but kind of an unbelievable amount. My first swim lesson was at a few months old. I joined a team at 3 years old.
You joined a team at 3 years old?
3 years old, 3 or 4 years old, depending on how you look at it, but I don't remember exactly when. And then I still swim every single day currently. So
you don't miss a day?
I do miss a day, but really, only because that's just how life is at this point, and it's smart to take a day off.
Yeah.
But then you got like weight room, and you got your sleep and other things, your stretching routine and stuff. I don't know if you're talking about competitive side of it. And then just the sheer obsession of the sport, kind of like you can be with nouns.
Yeah, you're an expert.
I don't know about 100,000 hours, but I don't even know what the math is on 100,000, but it's been a lot. I don't know. How many hours have I been alive for?
Malcolm Gladwell's thing is like 10,000 hours of experience to become an expert.
I far surpassed that, I believe. But all right, so I've been alive for let's say like 300,000 hours. I think 50,000 is okay number. I don't know. It's been a lot anyway.
Yeah.
How do I translate into the proposal? Not entirely sure.
Do you have written into the proposal that you are a professional swim coach?
I said current coach and instructor of all ages and abilities, and then I put a little footnote that showed I have some certifications. Although, I think Panda told me to put about certifications, which I guess is valuable, but to me, I'm I hate the certifications.
Yeah, that's fair. You're
forced to get them. This is you're forced to get some of these certifications, and then there's also an organization called the American Swim Coaches Association. And if you're a member of the USA Swimming, and you want to coach, you must get this ASCA Level 1 Coach certification, and you must pay X number of dollars for the certification. And it just never really sat with me that you're forced to pay for this certification. So I'm anti-certifications, but I have them all.
Yeah, that's whack. I don't think you need to list the certifications, to be honest. I think you just need to say, like, like, here's kind of some high level qualifications, maybe. Been a coach for X number of years or something.
In the footnotes, I think I have swimming for 30 plus years, hold American records in 2 niche aquatic sports, world record in swimming for old people, and other similar accomplishments.
Sick. Okay.
Then I have whole coaching certification from USA Swimming, US Master Swimming, American Red Cross lifeguard instructor, and some other things. Unless I could just get really specific, I don't know. But I just don't care for people like going immediately to searching me and finding photos of me. But we'll see. It's gonna happen anyway.
Yeah, what's your, and I pulled in some, I guess these are from Nouns AI, Mike, that you generated. These pictures.
Yeah, those were Nouns AI from Mike.
Yeah, those are AI. It maybe, I don't think it's Index's vibe for the prop, but I was just like, this could maybe be like the vision, you know? Yeah, those noggles are horrible.
No, I mean you could just roll it into.
What's going on here?
Yo, he doesn't discriminate on who he,
Exactly.
teaches swimming to. It's like all shapes and sizes of kids.
Yep. Yeah, it's close. I don't know what about it is off to me, but I would like some graphic, but I would prefer if it was like a real one.
Hey man, you know what to say, fake it till you make it. Hey, yeah.
But yeah, what else do I need? I don't know. I guess alone is like the idea compelling enough. Is the budget reasonable? That's like the big thing. But I guess the part of the problem is that I'm already convinced I'm perfect for this, so I have to forget about that part and think other people don't know.
Well, I think you got to just get feedback. And have you talked to Necfus, for example?
I have not. I think I brought the idea up once, but that's a good point. I will.
Because you're going to want Jelafina's vote, right? I would assume, or sorry, Medusa. I would assume Medusa is, you want Medusa's vote, and I would say Medusa's probably inclined to vote yes on something like this. Or do you think that Mucho Love kind of sees this as sort of a competing kind of prop? How are you going to handle that? The politics are.
I don't think Mucho Love or Necfus will see this as a competing proposal, but I think maybe others will, if that makes sense.
You know what? Could you fly down to Mucho Love and give swim lessons to those kids?
Sure, why not? Or are you saying instead of this proposal?
Or no, in addition, like one of the events is like, I don't know, it just seems like I've seen those videos and they seem like they had a lot of kids in need. Maybe you just like, you go down and you do like a clinic for a weekend with Mucho Love, team up with Mucho Love.
Sign me up, I'm in.
Mike, what do you think?
I mean, I think they can afford to give their own swim lessons. Just kidding. I think that's really cool, but he would have to add more into the prop, and he's trying to impact his local area, which I think is super cool as well. I think it could hit really hard in NYC. So yeah, maybe if he does like a little bit for like a couple sessions or like a weekend down there, that would be really cool. But I think like impacting your local area is also really cool, and he wants to make this sustainable, right? And like continue in the future.
For me,
yeah, right.
I mean, obviously the way this proposal is designed, the only way it's happening is because Nouns is giving me money. So in the future, if I did want to do it like this, then Nouns would just have to keep giving me money to scale it. But I would like to find a way to tap in. I would like to keep it going. I don't know if that means getting money from Nouns or how, but maybe cutting costs down, more volunteers, maybe providing other opportunities that are paid that subsidize maybe one day of the week, like I'm doing here. I could see that kind of existing. I could see there being other ways to raise money to do this outside of nouns in the future. And maybe it's not all year round. It's only during like certain time of year for a little period or something. But I could see this going on more than this. But someone would have to fund it, whether it's me or a business.
Yeah. Or you could start getting, you know, like maybe you could in the future, after this gets some exposure, get like pools to donate free time and get, you know, people to donate their time to do the coaching and do it all under this kind of free swim lessons umbrella.
Yeah, I think maybe. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But that's kind of the idea. At the end of the day, it's just like, yeah. Not as is though. I
mean, put a couple graphics in, flesh it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Based on a little bit of the feedback you've gotten, but I mean, it's a moderate price. You're well known. It's a solid idea. These types of things are what lead in all of the promotional videos and aspects that go into like nouns, you know, like at least from what I've seen. And I think it's like a big win for the DAO. Plus it like is very nounish and it like checks a lot of those boxes. Like you're a nouner, this is like a passion of yours for like a long time that you're bringing to the table. It's not just like you're trying to squeeze in something that like maybe you aren't, you know, like Panda was saying, it's not like you're just trying to do it because you see an opportunity or something. Like this is something you're super passionate about, and that'll be seen here. So yeah, I think it's a big W.
Thank you. I agree, obviously, with all of it. I think even like being super real, like I have like that prop house hot sauce thing, and that was more of like a hobby thing. And look at what happened, where I should have just probably went right into something like this from the get-go. Like this is something I'm literally executing on every single day of my life, regardless of funding or nouns. Maybe not in this capacity, but it's just like an extension of what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
I guess the other issue too is that I'm not really budgeting much compensation for myself in here. But if I get the more volunteers, I get.
Mike and I both noticed that and both kind of came down on you for that. Do you want to talk about that a minute? Just kind of your impulse, why we kind of disagree.
I don't know if I disagree, but I'm just trying to keep. I was trying to keep the proposal about $20,000, maybe $25,000 max was my number, and obviously, like I have these line items. You copied some into the Figma, and those are kind of like the essential line items that I feel like I need. The only one that is kind of like a little bit different that I didn't really have off the bat was the support staff number, which is at 4,500, and that would be if we're at full capacity and we can't. There's no volunteers, and I have to pay the people to help me. That's how much I need to pay everybody to like do the best clinic, and then obviously I could be one of those staff members and I would just be paid the same as anybody else. But there's no budgeted compensation for the like overhead and administrative side. This is literally just me being potentially paid for the time I spend there on the pool deck with the kids.
Yeah, and the pool rental fees are really killer here. 15 grand. How much pool time would that buy?
It's quite a bit, but it's 15 Sundays in a row, and it's like, I mean, I could scale it, but 3 to 4 hours on a Sunday. Free open swim lesson. It's a lot, but I'm in New York City.
Could you give an idea? Sorry, this just occurred to me, but could you give an idea of like someone gets to this clinic on a Sunday, what do they see when they get there? Do you give like an opening speech? Do you greet them? Do they jump right into the pool? Like, do you go over rules? How's it structured?
Well, there's going to be some form of like online application or like pre-process kind of a thing, where maybe they can get an idea of what's going on here. But yeah, you come in, I'll be there, hopefully with some support staff or volunteers. And hopefully if the demand is enough, every kid will be sectioned off into kind of like ages and abilities. So probably would greet them, they'd come in, we'd maybe divide the kids up to match their ages and abilities along with an instructor. I guess I could give a speech or something to explain, but it would be done in small sessions, so like 30 to 45 minute sessions per group. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good enough answer. I got to work on that one.
Yeah, I'm here for the index card speech.
We do speeches at every clinic, so I've done a speech many times. That's usually how when I do a clinic, usually you greet everyone with a little bit of introductory speech. So maybe I'll throw one in for you.
Yeah.
The idea though is not to waste too much time, but I guess it's kind of important.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but pandas are actually quite good swimmers. It's one of our skills. But we can always get better.
Let's see it.
We do like to float. That's kind of our main way that we swim. That's kind of classic right there. That's our swimming pose. We just kind of hang out, you know?
I mean, floating is very important. If you can't float, you're done. It's not easy to float either. Like, surprisingly, not that easy to float. Not everyone can do it. You can swim, but you can even swim, but maybe not float that well. Yeah, I don't know if I'm selling you on this prop. Maybe I'm doing worse.
You got my vote on anything, man. Anything you propose, I'm voting yes.
If you didn't know me, this is a yes or a no.
Well, I think you got to shop it out. You gotta.
All right, so no.
You got to send it around. All right, as we sort of close out the show, do you have kind of a time frame you're looking at? Where do you hope this will be at next week, for example, or
on
want to get it in on chain this week?
If I can get it on this week, then yeah, sooner the better, because obviously I'm looking to start in September.
Oh yeah.
So if I could have the funds come August, then that would be great. I've already in talks with the facility. I could see the rental fees being kind of a problem for people, but that's kind of what it is for this place. And there's just really not many opportunities for pools. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
That's why kids can't swim.
Well, it'll be fun to see how this turns out next week. Mike, thanks for joining us. Great to see you as always. Index, any closing thoughts here? You want to lead us out?
Vote for my proposal on chain next week. Actually, no. By the time you get it, it would be 2 weeks from now because the time delay. But vote for free swim lessons for kids. God bless.
We'll be watching. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching every Wednesday. 2400 UTC. This is Let's Play Lowlands now. We'll see you next Wednesday.